Candy, how are you? It's Barry Meguiar.
Hi, Barry. How are you?
Hi.
How are
Excellent.
you today?
Excellent. We have a lot of music and PA system going on here, so we'll try to hear you over all the noise. I hope it doesn't cover up what I'm trying to say to you. Nice to be with you.
Great. Thank you so much. It's nice to have you. So, you want to talk a little bit about your personal experience hot rodding? I believe your passion started when you were a young child.
Well, I was born in Southern California, right, just perfectly at the right time. So by the time I became a teenager, I mean, hot rodding was all around me. Car shows were all around me. I grew up with Hot Rod magazine, and Robert E. Peterson, of course, was the publisher of that, created that magazine, all of Peterson Publishing with Motor Trend and Carcraft and all the magazines. And he was my hero then. He later became my dear friend. And I look back to those early years, and so much of it was centered around El Mirage and Bonneville and racing the Deuce Coupe on the salt flats. And I fell in love. That was the first car I fell in love with, was the 32 Deuce, and I always said I wanted to have one of those cars. So yeah, I grew up with it. I was there when hot rodding began back in the early 50s, and I'm still enjoying it today. And it's been fun to watch the rise of popularity. I mean, it's a huge hobby now, and much more respected now. Way back in the 50s, hot rodders were seen as like criminals because of street racing. But the car guys eventually created drag strips, of course, and drag racing has become one of the great spectator sports in America. And quite frankly, hot rodders are seen among the most patriotic of all Americans. So the stature has come up, and now, believe it or not, there's about 30 million car guys in the United States, and about 40% of those, or about 12 million people, are hot rodders. So, I mean, this little thing that started in Southern California has gone huge in our culture here in America, and it's actually a global phenomenon. I mean, wherever we go in the world, there are hot rod shows. I just got back from Tokyo. There was a Moon Eyes hot rod show in Tokyo, would you believe? And then we flew from there over to Finland, to Helsinki, and there was an even larger hot rod show in Helsinki, Finland. And through the years, we've had our Car Crazy television show for about 18 years now, and we've shot hot rod shows in the Philippines and Australia and New Zealand and Asia and Europe and Latin America. And so it's not just it's patently American. I often say the Deuce Coupe is our great American ambassador, because people all over the world love America because of the Deuce. And they're often, when they're driving their hot rods, are wearing red, white, and blue, and I quite find that to be quite amusing and wonderful. Yeah.
Very interesting. So, based on all of your experience, what are your thoughts on this year's National Street Rod Association National?
What are my thoughts on the show?
Yeah.
Well, the show is amazing, of course. We've been here before. We did a TV show on this event years ago. We love York. There's a center for hot rodders back here. It's so very special. Of course, the venue is wonderful, but it's like family. You come here and you see car guys from not just Pennsylvania or Maryland, whatever, but really they come from all over the country here once a year and hang out with each other. It's a family hangout. It's a happening. It's more than a car show. It's the dynamic of the interaction with the people and car guys hanging out and having fun and enjoying their families, watch their kids grow up together. It's pretty special.
That sounds exciting. So then, how did you become a spokesperson for the program?
I don't know. The postal system called me one day and said, "Hey, we're launching this stamp." And last year we launched our muscle car stamp. So we had Richard and Kyle Petty, which are pretty great guys, heroes of mine. And they said, "This year for hot rods, we'd like to have you help us launch." And I said, "Count me in."
Yeah.
I can't wait to get there. So, but quite frankly, it's even better than I thought it would be. The post office put a huge amount of effort into their launching today. And you know what's cool? Our Postmaster General, Patrick Donahoe, we call him Pat now, even though we're old buddies, right? We've been together for a few hours. Pat's a lifetime car guy. And there's a lot of car guys in the postal system, and a lot of them brought their cars as well here today. So, yeah, it's the real deal. I mean, they did it from their heart, and it wasn't a business decision. They were close enough to hot rodders, and being them hot rodders themselves, they wanted to take this opportunity. And how better can the United States government acclaim and propel and applaud an important part of our culture better than putting it on a postage stamp so we can all enjoy it, you know, and they're available, of course, at post offices across the country, and will be out to limited edition, but I think they'll be out for a few months. So I'm urging car guys everywhere, get there. Let's pay back. Let's give appreciation back to the Postal Service for doing what they're doing. Let's buy record numbers of these postage stamps, and they are, yeah, they're.
Stamps. What do the hot rod stamps look like?
Oh, they're really great. They have two hot rods. There's two different stamps. One's a black one with orange flames, and very reminiscent of my personal hot rod. You know, it reminds me of it. I said, well, they got my hot rod. It's not mine, but it's actually an art piece. The other one is patterned after the Meguiar Roadster, and the Meguiar Roadster was actually, you could almost say it's the most famous Roadster. Deuce, I mean, there's different names for the same car. The 32, the Deuce Coupe, the Roadster, that's the High Boys. There's a lot of names for this car. But could be argued to say that it's the most famous of all. The Meguiar Roadster was actually the first 32 Ford Highboy to be on the cover of Hot Rod magazine back in 1948, actually in the October edition. And it's been owned by some significant car guys all the way through, currently owned by one of my best friends, Bruce Meyer, and it's on display at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles.
Wow, great.
Yeah, it's cool, really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and enjoy your hot rodding.
Thank you, Candy. So
You're
nice to be with
welcome.
you. Okay, God bless you now.
Likewise, you too.